How is your family?
Good. I'm happy to announce that I get to be a grandfather again. Senna Josephine, 19 inches, 6 pounds, 8 ounces, to my son Jamie and my daughter-in-law Christine. So I'm very happy.
That's cool.
Coach,
Very good week.
I don't have a great follow-up, but you had mentioned on the radio that Pedro would be a 50-50 for this weekend, but you told us that it was still like a 4 to 6 week time frame.
Yeah, I know
So
there was
which
some
one is it?
confusion there. He's going to come on the plane with us. How about that?
Is that intended?
So no, that doesn't actually answer it. When you say they come on the plane,
He's going to
with
be on the
us-
bench.
Okay, so what happened between Tuesday morning and Tuesday evening that made that change, or why do you tell us something completely different than what you say
Well,
on
I
the
don't know if
radio?
I said anything completely different.
Well, 4 to 6 is totally different than
From
he's
the
getting on
start
plane.
of his injury. Maybe that's where your confusion was. I said at the beginning of the injury 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So if you go back to the date of injury,
We're at 3.
we're at 3.
Yeah, it was March 8th. I mean, I
Okay.
guess you could kind of, but
Fudge that.
But and then you also said that he was still a ways off. So, but anyway, so
Anyway.
just
Coach-
listen to the radio is kind of what the lesson is here for me.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, I thought I was. Maybe I'll work on my communication skills. How about that?
That was appreciated.
Okay.
Coach, Pedro's coming on the trip. That's a good sign. That also integrates him back into the field and integrates him back with his teammates. How healthy is that for you guys to do that as you prepare him to bring him back?
Yeah. It'll help. I mean, look, he's not 90 minutes fit. We always try and, stagger minutes as he comes back. I need to, manage expectations. So, we'll get him back out there, back with the group, back with his friends, and, that's always a positive.
Obviously, Pedro's injury history, does it make you apprehensive to get him out there quicker? Are you more careful, or basically the exams and the sports science is clear on him?
The sports science people, the medical staff, has cleared him. I'm not going to overcook him his first opportunity. I'll be careful. But, I can take some responsibility for the last injury he had, playing him on a short rest in that week where we had 3 games in 7 days. I can accept some of that, and I'm not going to do that again.
Danny Masowski has been working on his own. What's his status?
He's got a nagging back injury, and to be clear, he's questionable. I don't know if he's going to make the trip. He's getting better every day. I will know more tomorrow.
What about Jordan then?
Jordan is not going to San Diego.
With San Diego, new team, going to be a new feel at Snapdragon. What are some early, thoughts, or maybe later on kind of thoughts about that competition or that matchup?
Well, they've done well for an expansion team. It's not easy, but they've done a good job. Mikey has got him playing the way he wants. You see some of the score lines, and you go, wow, that's pretty impressive. So we dug deep in there. We think we're prepared. I think we have a good game plan. We'll give them a good game.
They're the number one position-based team in the league right
Yeah.
now. I think you guys are second or something like that. How does that
Columbus
battle
is
come
up
about?
there. Columbus is up there. I mean, Columbus had a red card in their game. That might have skewed things a little bit. I think that red card was in the 60-something minute against Columbus. But, they're a good team. We're a good possession team. We'll see who can win that battle. They also like to press at home. We'll have to play through their press or on top of their press. So we'll see.
Brian, how do you take in all these new teams coming into the league, knowing that when you guys came on, when the Sounders came on, you guys kind of set a blueprint for success, and now you're seeing teams replicate that, and not just success from a business standpoint, but success from a soccer standpoint. How much of that do you, in a sense, take as a source of pride to know that you guys were integral in that?
Well, some people forget that history, so thank you for that reminder, to everybody out there. We were very successful when we launched, both on the business side, putting 30-some-odd thousand people in the stadium. Now they've done the same. They have a bigger stadium, slightly bigger stadium, and they've had results on the field. And our results that first year were good for an expansion team. Maybe you could argue that, okay, LAFC or Atlanta and some of those guys came in and kind of raised the bar even more, but I think we were one of the originals as far as launching successfully an MLS franchise.
What is the key in terms of when teams are pressing? I know the first pass is important, but what's the key in sustaining that and turning that into opportunity?
Making sure that we can play between lines and play forward. Because when you play square or you play back to Steph, that's one of their triggers. They're going to come. So we got to be able to be brave in certain moments. We got to make sure that guys are in the right spot so that we can play forward past their press. They're pretty aggressive trying to lock you in on either the left, their left attacking quadrant or their right attacking quadrant. They'll commit 6, maybe even 7 guys to, pinning you in there. So we got to be ready for that.
You talk about primary assist zone being important in scoring. Just what do you need from those areas for the players in those spots?
Somebody to make plays. I mean, we get there a lot. We had a lot of shots against San Jose and a lot of good things, but we gotta finish the ball.
Is that a thought process that I'm going to score?
It's a thought process plus getting yourself in the right spots plus confidence.
Kim, Kiki, and Reed, are they going to make the trip? Let me ask that first.
They are going to be on the airplane and they will be on the bench.
So, but with them and trying to integrate them into it, do you need to have like a comfortable lead to kind of take those measures to get those to some
could
game
be an
minutes
injury, could be game state, it could be, lots of different things.
Thinking about how you guys play and then also San Diego, can you just talk about how you guys match up against a team like that?
Well, we play 4-3-3. Our formation fits well there. We know how to play against that formation, but again, it comes down to making plays. I mean, how we match up, why we match up. We still need to make sure that we're good in certain areas and make sure that we possess the ball in the right spots. Be aggressive because we can't defend for 90 minutes, and then hopefully somebody's gonna do something and help us score a goal and we can play from the front, play with a lead.
Is there any particular player you are being extra cautious about going into this game?
You mean from San Diego?
Yeah.
No, it's a good all-around team.
And then wanted to ask a quick question about Yamar and his impact on the team, the importance behind having Yamar in the back and his overall leadership.
It's been good. The game we didn't have him, you saw there, guys filled in, but you miss him when he's not there. So he's been a steady influence on our team for many years, and we're happy that he came here.
With Danny Misowski being questionable and Ferreira being one of those options up there, do you feel like in order to get him going, it's more about him doing things to fit the system, or you guys doing more to fit his skill set?
I think it's a combination of both. Look, Jesus is a smart soccer player. You guys are digging around statistics, all that sort of stuff. He provides good defending, some of his passing. When we get him in the right spots, the goals will come. I'm confident that he's going to be a positive influence in our team.
Brian, you've talked about the importance, and I know the importance of generating goals from set pieces. It sounds like that's been a disappointment for you just in terms of the execution. Can you
rewatch the first in-swing corner we had down in San Jose when the score was 0-0? You can tell me, Maz, tomorrow what you see. Because the scheme, everything was perfect, the ball was delivered perfect, but Jackson just didn't get his head on it. And maybe that goes in, maybe that's 1-0. And then the game changes. Guys got to make plays.
On the opposite end, or the contrast end, San Diego's a very good set-piece team.
Yep.
How do you work on that defensively?
Well, we've been working on that. St. Louis is a very good set-piece team. Houston, we've been working on our defending Yesterday during a regular 11v11, we stopped it once and had a wide channel free kick. So we've been working on it.
And Brian, as one of the most long tenured and successful coaches in this league, I just wanted to get your take on Peter Vermeese's dismissal in Sporting Kansas City.
Well, it's a business. Peter was there for a long time, and when I texted him, I complimented him on being, obviously a successful guy and Kansas City guy, but he was a builder. I used that adjective. He built something really good in Kansas City. He played in MLS, so, it's a really good story. Maybe not the ending that he wanted. Maybe he would have liked to retire in a better situation. I think we all want to have that happen to us. But he did a lot of really, really good things. Sporting Kansas City. They were always competitive teams. I remember the Open Cup battles back in 2013, 2012. He won MLS Cup. So he's done a good job.
Brian, last question. You had talked about your family, and you had talked about becoming a grandparent, and I think one of the things that is really important right now, especially with this climate in our world, is what is this world going to look like for our future, and how do you see that coming along, and the legacy that you and your family are leaving behind?
Well, I'm a tree hugger, and I'll clarify that. I'm an environmentalist. I think climate change is real. I think things are happening on this planet that we're helping accelerate or causing or whatever. So I would love for everybody to, number one, get along. Number two, get off their phones and talk to people, which I'll do better at. And then third, just be nice to people. And let's just have a positive instead of a negativity always boiling around certain things. It's pretty extreme at times when you actually watch the news. Sometimes it's actually depressing. But I love the outdoors. We live in the Northwest. Those things are important for my grandchildren for sure, my adult children as well. They still got a few years left.
Speaking of babies.
Brian, you get a new player, and offensive player. We get him up here. The first thing he says is he likes to play defense. How much?
He does.
Yes, he did. That's the first thing he said. You can go back and listen. I was so surprised. I was like, yeah,
He said he liked to lift bumps
Hold
off
on.
seats.
Just can you talk
Bums
about
off seats. I got that.
Yeah, but his ability.
He's a good all-around player. Look, in Scotland at Rangers where he played, he had to go both ways. That league, that team, that's a super high level. He needed to do things in both directions for sure.
I had a clarifying question too, as far as another thing you said on the radio. You and Softy and Fane were kind of talking about paternity leave, and they were like planning when to have children, and you had made a comment about whether, like, if it was a big match, you would kind of not want your player to leave, and
That's an individual choice. I have always let players go for the birth of their children. That's been a policy of mine. So, it's up to the player. Really, bottom line.
Yeah. So it's not because like Alex missed, I think, a CONCACAF game, and so yeah.
You can go back.
Well,
There's
it's
been
kind of
plenty
just
of
wild that it just seemed like a interesting direction that the conversation was going, and I think it was more Dick that was kind of like, you should plan better to have when the woman should plan better on when to have children, I guess. And
no, Jada, I completely disagree. You'd have to listen to their whole segment. I don't think it was that. They were just talking about certain things. Look, childbirth, moms, dads, young people having children, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. And why would I try and spoil that for anybody? I just don't see it.